name's Petra. I'm here today with my lovely daughter Natasha. We're knitting and it is episode
20.
Woohoo! We're in the 20s.
And our podcast anniversary was September 21st, right? It's October 17th? It's October 17th. So,
yes.
Oh, the puppy is going. He wants to join.
And we thought he was going to be taking a nap right now. But he's not allowed in here because he's a yarn chewer and a yarn destructor. And there's just too much temptation for him here at the moment.
Yeah. So maybe
he'll make a little appearance at some point.
Yeah. He'll make an appearance at some point. So anyway, yeah, it's been, I think, about 3 weeks since we last posted a video, but probably closer to 5 or 6 weeks since we recorded because it took me a minute to post the last one. So yeah, we are in the height of fall here. It's a beautiful day. But yeah, what have you been up to this past 3/6 weeks?
Also, so I did go to England. I was there for just over 2 weeks. Spent my time with my whole extended family really, which was wonderful. Traveled up and down England 3 times, twice in the train, that I really enjoyed, and that was good quality knitting time. My mom finished a sweater she was knitting.
That's great.
I don't have any footage
That's okay.
from the trip, and I only went to one little wool shop in Devon. It was pretty tiny. It was more like a craft shop where they had a little corner of wool and fabric and model building, airplane model building.
Oh wow!
And
Lots
so
of
on.
hobbies.
Yeah, that was a sweet little town, Ilfracombe, in Devon.
Okay.
And so I've been back for 2 weeks, back into sort of the work groove thing. My garden is still producing.
Wow.
Which is
tomatoes and
beans. I still have purple beans and parsley, raspberries, onions. So that's kind of fun.
Squash. I know there's been a lot of squash.
I've still got some pumpkin squash.
What about
no
beets?
Pumpkin squash, sorry. Butternut squash. Oh yes, I have beets. Gosh, thanks for reminding me. I should probably harvest some and give some to you. And then I want to plant some garlic and some flowers. I bought some miniature iris bulbs that I want to plant maybe later today.
Nice.
So what about you, sweetie? What have you been up to?
So let's see. I went to Cape Cod a couple of times, I think. You know, it's usually only without traffic, some good parts of the Cape are only about a 2-hour drive from where I live in Boston. So it can be a nice little getaway for a night. But I did a bachelorette there, and I also went with my husband John for a couple days, and I went to 2 yarn shops, one for each trip. The first yarn shop, when I went with John, I didn't realize that they were having a Cape and South Shore yarn haul. I didn't tell you about this, but they were having a what do they call it when you do a yarn trail?
It's just a yarn crawl, isn't it?
Yarn crawl. Okay, yarn crawl, but this is a yarn haul, but also known as a yarn crawl. So we were here in Yarmouth. So for those who aren't familiar with the Cape, a lot of times when you talk about it, you can hold your arm up like this. Mm-hmm. So this is like the mainland, and all the way out here is Provincetown. And then you can kind of point to where you are, and it's like kind of, you can understand. Cute. So the elbow here is Chatham, and I was here, I guess, the tricep in South Yarmouth. And that's where Salt Yarn Studio was. And that was the only shop I made it to. I didn't realize it was happening. Otherwise, I would have probably gone to another one or two, but I had the day off of work when we were driving back, but John didn't. So we drove back. I was driving and he was working in the car while we were driving back, and I couldn't really stop at a yarn store on the way back because he needed to get back to work. So I only made it to one, but they were giving these bags away for free, which I thought was really cool. And I got 2 skeins. One for me, one for you. It's this crazy, no 2 are alike. Sorry, the sun might play crazy things with us. It says it's Stonehenge Fiber Mill. I think it was either Michigan or Minnesota or Wisconsin. I think Michigan.
It is Michigan, and you know what? I came across this yarn too recently.
Really?
Yeah, so this is a much more affordable spin cycle.
Exactly, and they use the yarn ends or the mill ends, so it's yarn that could otherwise be wasted, and it's repurposed. So I thought this one for you,
love that.
and then make this one for me. I know it's just a one skein, but maybe you could use it in a color work.
Yes.
You could use it for a color work hat or a color work small yoke or something.
Thank you so much. I'm excited. And you know what's really funny? I went to Driftwood Yarns, my local yarn store, recently to buy some cotton yarn because my niece asked me to make her some dishcloths.
Okay.
She's washed through all the ones I gave her. And Anna came with me, and she picked, and Elizabeth had some of this yarn.
Oh, okay.
And Anna picked out a skein that she's going to try to knit.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, I think it is really, I think it was like maybe $14 or $16.
It's $13.50 at Driftwood Yarns.
Okay.
So
I think I
affordable.
might have paid $14. But yeah, it's an affordable version of Spin Cycle.
So there we go. And it's sport weight, 50 grams.
Yeah.
Oh, really fun. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
You're
That was a
welcome.
complete surprise.
I
Thank
know.
you.
I was like, do I tell her or I wait till we record? And I waited till we recorded. So then the other yarn shop I went to with Julia, it was her bachelorette, and we were in Chatham, which is over here. And we went to, I think it's on here, it was Adventures in Knitting. It was over here. So there are two in Chatham. There's Adventures in Knitting and A Great Yarn. And we went to Adventures in Knitting, and so it was Julia's bachelorette, and she is a knitter too, and she's getting married in January in Vermont, so she wanted to get some white yarn. She's making herself some beautiful gloves.
Oh, how lovely.
There's a lot of really nice patterns on Ravelry for like white wedding gloves. So she's chosen, they're going to be finger gloves, and she's chosen like a lacy pattern. So she bought this like cashmere kind of mohair. Like it wasn't exactly mohair, but it's cashmere with a halo. So she was going to do a little swatch to make sure that it didn't mess up the lace pattern. So she was on a mission to get that yarn, and I went to get a skein for our giveaway. So I got a local Cape Cod yarn for our giveaway, and I'll show that at the end. I'll put a little timestamp here because we announced our giveaway last episode. So we have 3 prizes. Well, actually, it's more than 3 prizes. We'll have 3 winners that will get a bunch of things.
Yes.
So we will announce those at the end, but I will show that skein when we announce the winner for that skein. And our friend Becca, who always sees us knitting, we converted her, and we got her, she got a loopy mango hat kit. And I'll insert a picture of the 3 of us at the yarn shop. So that was fun. So that was kind of what I've been up to. I also did a trip to DC with some of the girls that I grew up with. We've known each other since like 3rd and 4th grade. So it's, it was really, really fun to see them. But I had no time for yarn shopping there, but I was knitting the whole time.
Are you the only one?
Yes. No, they all talk about it, and I think every single one of them asked me for a sweater. And I said no.
You just
I said I love you, but no. I was like, maybe I can do a hat or something, but committing to sweaters, I mean, I make some, I'm actually starting one for my sister, but it's just
it's a challenge.
It's a challenge. You all know what it's like. There's only knitting garments for other people. Like Anna's just a little smaller than me, so it's easy for me to try on and know if it's gonna fit her. We're the same body type, because someone can be smaller or around my size, but they could have a different body type. Curvy or chest size varies. So with Anna, I know what I'm getting into, so it's easy to knit.
And you know what she likes, which is almost anything.
Exactly. So anyways, that was a long-winded what we're up to.
Okay.
Anything else to cover?
I guess before we get into our kind of usual FOs, whips, we have a few acquisitions and giveaways. There's a couple of things that I did get in England that I want to share.
Okay.
I met up with my old childhood friend, and she gave me these really beautiful.
You should say she's not old. You met up with your long-time childhood friend, right? Say
yes.
An old friend.
Right. She's not old. She's actually young.
Right.
She's my age.
Yeah, she's young. She's your age.
And
Oops.
no,
One of them was broken.
One of
It
them
just
was
fell
already
out.
broken, and so she's not
sorry,
a
the sun
maker,
the
but
sun
she's
is
a beautiful
glaring.
artist. She can draw.
I think you can see these little insects. There's like a dragonfly, a ladybug,
And
a
I think,
bee, a beetle, but they're porcelain, right?
and they're hand painted. I think
They're hand painted.
they're really gorgeous. Yeah. So I'll have to.
Oh, the sun is really playing havoc
I
here.
think that they will be really great as an accent.
Yeah.
You know. So Natasha, do you want to show what my mom made? Do you have it
Oh
handy?
yeah.
So I'm just, while you find that, I think last year I had ordered a yard of linen fabric from Katie, who has the Green Bean podcast, and we'll put a link. She's an amazing sketcher, and you guys may have seen these, all the different breeds of sheep. She also does sell dishcloths, but I had bought this linen and it was shipped to my mom's place because it was coming from England and it was just cheaper to get it shipped to England. And so anyway, it had been waiting for me for a year. Initially, I thought I might make shorts, but when I saw the fabric, I didn't think it would be really suitable for shorts.
Yeah.
So my mom cut it up and she made each of us a dishcloth,
Yeah.
including
A little.
one for Anna. So we all have one, and one for herself and one for my sister.
Oh, she did it on both sides. I have you
Yeah,
have two hooks.
so what I love about that is, you know, I can think of all of the girls in my family when I look at this, and there's a Czech saying for you Czech viewers, "Mám tě na oče," which means I have you in my sight when you
Oh, that's sweet.
we all have the same one. So anyway, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really nice. The details on the sheep are so cute. They all have little smiles.
And Katie Greenbean has a really beautiful podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we can move into
What
what we're wearing.
Okay, do you want to go first? Because that kind of transitions since Grandma helped you with that.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I am wearing my Venus sweater, which was knit in pieces. And I'm sure that I talked about it in the last two episodes. I actually started it last spring, I think, 2020. And then it sat aside for a while. And I took it to England as my English knitting, and I was working on the sleeves both at the same time, and I think I was about up to here, and I finished knitting it in England, and then my wonderful mom seamed it, and she did the set-in sleeves and the side seams. She did mattress stitch.
Wow.
And she just did it beautifully, and
Yeah.
she wove in. She loves finishing. And I do not like finishing. She wove in ends, and she wove in ends on all the projects that I finished while I was there.
Aww.
It was just really great. And so this is in Rowan something cotton. It's 50% cotton, 50% linen. Oh, it's Rowan Creative Linen.
Okay.
And I used almost exactly 4 100-gram skeins. So it's quite a lot of yarn in this.
Right.
And it's not that long. This is where it hits me, like just
Yeah.
below my hip, I guess. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. I wore it in England, and I've been wearing it. This time of year, it's perfect. I've been wearing it quite a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm happy to get this finished, to have this finished. And I love that my mom finished
Yeah,
it. Finished it for me.
It's a pretty color too.
Thank you. Yeah, it's my favorite color. Okay, Natasha, tell us about what you're wearing today.
Okay, so I finished my Foldlines by Norah Gaughan. It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern. So I think last time I was on one sleeve. No, I was on the back maybe.
Yes, that's what you were. You hadn't started the sleeves because I was trying to talk you into knitting the sleeves 2 at a time,
Right,
and you didn't.
Okay,
This is knit in pieces as well.
Yeah, so I'll explain what I did. So this was with Shibui Knits Echo, and I ended up using just over 5.5 skeins for this project. So it is knit in pieces, and the pattern has you actually knit the sleeves flat and then joint, so that's kind of a drop shoulder. So the sleeves, let me get closer. You can see here, that's where the front and back end, and they're seamed up here. So what I did is I did the front and back, then I seamed up the side and the top. And then instead of knitting my sleeves flat and separate, I picked up here and knit the sleeves in the round on there. So the pattern doesn't have you do that. So I didn't have to seam my sleeves.
Oh, I see.
So I'm really happy I did that. The sleeves were a bit of a slog. I was like kind of over the pattern at that point, but I knew I was going to love this sweater. So that's a modification I did. Instead of, I seamed up the body and then picked up and knit down. So the only thing is the pattern takes into account some stitches. Let me see if you can kind of see. The pattern takes into account stitches for you to seam. So and I didn't adjust that. So I have like 4 extra stitches that are just in the middle here as if they were where to seam, but you can't really notice that. It's fine.
No. What a great idea. And you know what I noticed when I see you wearing it is that there isn't this big demarcation of where you would have seamed it, which is sometimes what happens in dropped sleeve, what's the correct term? Dropped sleeve sweaters. And I don't like that. I don't like where you can see that. Mm-hmm. So in this way, because of the pattern also, it's almost invisible. The sleeve join is almost invisible.
It does follow the pattern with this purl bump is where the seam is.
Very clever.
So yeah, I love the like stars. Mm-hmm. I've gotten a lot of compliments on this sweater. So I'm happy it's done. But and I definitely made mine shorter than the pattern. I made 1 whole repeat less. So and the yarn, I think this was on size 4 US needles. It's a nice, it's warm but breathable. Great for this weather.
It's a merino silk blend, isn't it? Shibui. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the name of the?
Yeah, Echo. I said it at the beginning.
Oh, sorry, Echo. Okay.
I don't have an extra skein with me to show you, but yeah. So that is done.
And you used 6.5,
5.5, just over 5.5.
And each one is 50 grams. And it's
really,
yeah, I think so. Or you know what? Maybe not. Shibui tends to sell their yarn in 50 grams allotments.
Oh, it says 40 grams.
Oh, wow. Really? 160
and it's DK.
yards. Oh, it's DK. Okay.
Yeah.
And it feels really nice.
Yeah, it is. It's really soft. And blocking made this pattern like really nice. I steam blocked before I seamed, and then I wet blocked before I picked up.
Oh, okay.
And then I also went back and did the collar
afterwards. This collar was picked up and knit at the end as well.
Okay, so
wonderful.
Any other FOs? Do you have FOs to talk about?
So I have some FOs that I already gave away. I don't have any big FOs actually. I finished yet another Lucky Dog sweater, and I used this pattern by Purl Soho, which I love. There's probably 7, if not 8 sizes. The yarn I used for this is the Sublime.
Oh, this is soft.
Yeah. And this is for my niece and her new husband's doggy called Colfie. And he's a Bennington Terrier. I think I got that right. So I made my niece and nephew matching hats out of this yarn with some black. For my niece, it's a beeswax hat, and Natasha will insert some photos.
Okay.
And then I guess he's my nephew-in-law now, her husband. I made him a black and white hat too. The pattern I used was Mood Steps by Lande, and that's a free pattern. It ended up being a tremendously slouchy hat for Ben, but he said he liked it. And this is superwash wool. I'm hoping if it's too big that maybe they can shrink it in the dryer. And I also finished a pair of socks for my brother-in-law, and he sent me a cute picture of him wearing the socks. So maybe you can insert that. And I think then I have another almost FO, which is another doggy sweater in the smallest size for a little Affin pincher strudel. And I will show you that. This one is, I wish my mom was here because the ends need to be woven in. So this is in like a burgundy color.
pretty.
And it's finished, and the yarn is a fingering weight yarn, but I held it double.
Okay.
And it's Wisdom Yarns is the company, and it's an Angora lace, so it's got a little bit of Angora in it, and it's definitely going to felt, but I think it will be like a felted doggy sweater. I think that'll be fine.
Nice and warm.
Yeah, so I just need to weave in the ends and block it, put on a label. Talking about labels, somebody asked in the comments where we get our labels from.
Oh yeah, so we've gotten them from a couple Etsy shops. Sometimes they go out of business or take a pause, so look on Etsy and you can see there's lots of options for some custom leather labels, but you've ordered from this company before.
They're called Grain Deep. They're based in Canada. They are on Etsy. Really fantastic, a couple, and they are my go-to. And I get these suede ones, and I know you can't see that, but it just says Petra Knits 2. And then Natasha's got some leather ones, and she's got rectangular ones. But
I think I have one.
I ordered I think
those are
50,
sweet.
and this is how many I have left.
I actually didn't put one on this sweater yet, but oh yeah, these are mine. They say Knit Ink and they're leather.
Did you get them from Grain Deep too?
I don't think so. Sorry, I'm trying to fight the sun there, but I think you can see that.
So those are all my FOs, and before you share your FOs, Natasha, I want to say thank you all very much for all your wonderful comments, and we've really enjoyed reading about the projects that you're working on.
Yeah, it's inspirational.
And I've looked some up, and of course my queue has extended now. And some of you have asked us about the Marie Whalen Primrose sweaters. They've been on pause.
Yeah.
I think they'll be back in the next episode, I think.
Yeah. I think they will be back in the next episode.
So Natasha, what about your FOs?
So, first of all, I know you just said thank you for the comments. We should also say welcome new viewers and welcome back to our returning viewers. We're really bad about saying that.
And thank you to the new subscribers, because we were just under 4,000 I think last time, and we might be like 4,400 now.
Wow.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
The new subscribers.
Yeah.
Really, really appreciate it.
We do.
Yeah.
Okay, so my FO, I actually just have, besides the sweater, I just have one actual FO, I think. Yeah. So I did the Soft and Cushy hat by Purl Soho. It's a free pattern. And I have a friend who's asked me like a dozen times for a hat. So
Who is this?
Sam.
Oh.
He asked for like an earth tone, like slouchy beanie. So last fall, I think I bought a sweater's quantity of this Juniper Moon yarn. It was like a big sale from a yarn store local to me called The Third Piece that was closing their brick and mortar and just going for temporarily, and then they were going to open one in Newton. But this was like right down the street from me, like 3 blocks from my apartment. And I got 5 skeins of this. I got 2 in this mustard, 2 in like a charcoal gray. Actually, I might have gotten 6 skeins because I think then I got 2 in like a light teal. And I was gonna do some sort of color block or color work sweater. But then I looked at it and it's single ply, and I started to be like, well, this is gonna pill. So I then never cast anything on, but it's really soft, and so I'm gonna use these skeins for like kind of one-off hats or hat projects rather than a sweater, because I don't think it'll hold up well for a sweater. So the Soft and Cushy hat is, like I said, a free pattern, and it uses this, I think it's fisherman's rib.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it's not quite like brioche, but it definitely looks...
I think it was, let me see what they called it. You knit into the row below to make, to kind of give this like, it has the kind of
brioche
feel. So this is the pattern. So I ended up doing like the kid size or something. Let me look here. I ended up, I think there were 4 or 5 sizes. I cast on for the adult large, and it was huge. Gosh. It was on size 8 needles. And so then I went down to the adult small, and it was still big. So then I cast on for the kid. So it's a 10 stitch difference.
Gosh, that's huge.
And then I washed and blocked it, and it was enormous. I used exactly one whole skein. So then I was like, okay, I need to try and shrink this. So I put it in the dryer, and I accidentally felted it a little bit. So it was the stitch was a lot more distinctive when I first did it, but I caught it just in time. So I think that he might not be able to do the folded brim, but I think it's still, it's big for me. So it's going to be fine for him because he's got a big head. I had John try it on. If he really wanted, he could do like that. It's kind of in style with some hats where it's like small like that, but it doesn't quite cover your ears. So he could do that, or he could wear it as a little bit of a slouchy beanie. So it is a little felted, but I think it's going to be a little warmer. And
it feels really dense. I like the felting. It
was a lot looser before the felting. So so that's my FO. That was kind of a trial.
And what I wanted to say about this yarn, you made a cardigan, the Martini, years ago out of the same yarn, which you don't really wear, and I don't wear mine either.
Yeah, it was kind of unflattering.
Yeah.
Because it was all this fabric at the waist.
So this is alpaca, wool, and silk. It's interesting how it was able to felt.
Well, here's the thing. I had it in the dryer on its own, and it didn't dry, and then I stupidly put in, I think I had a sheet. So I think the combination of the sheet,
the
agitation.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really thinking. I really liked the decreases that were for this. Actually, I should point those out. They did. It's not as distinctive as it was, and they say it's reversible. So you can kind of see it a little. Maybe I'll call this the right side. The decreases are a little nicer on this side. It was definitely more distinctive pre-felting, but. Yeah, and it was all the same size needle for the whole thing, so not a different size for the brim or anything like that.
It's great to use up a full skein, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which actually reminds me, there's another FO, another picture will come in a hat I made, which is the Excuse Me hat by Stephen West, talking about interesting crown decreases. That hat was a lot of fun to knit, and you start at the crown.
Okay.
And that was for my godson who turned 8. And I gave him an adult size head. It's like the opposite extreme of what hat, an adult size hat. It's a little bit big for him, but not too much.
Okay.
Yeah, and he loved it. He said, I'm going to wear it to school tomorrow. And
that's sweet.
Yeah, he's so cute, my goodness. So I'm going to make his younger sister a hat too. Her favorite color is blue.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So speaking of Stephen West,
yes.
We are doing the Shawlography. So I will put a timestamp below, and I've been working on mine now, so hopefully you haven't been seeing issues. No spoilers. This is clue 2, and this will probably come out right around when clue 3 comes out. So
yeah. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. So I got a kit from Stephen and Penelope, which was so cool to get yarn from Amsterdam. I love it when yarn travels so far, and you're like this, it came on a plane and came to me. So I was so excited that my tote bag matched my yarn, and you said you were looking on Instagram and you noticed that it looks like they tried to match bags with people's yarns, which I think is really sweet. Mm-hmm. So part of the reason I wanted to get a kit is because I really wanted to try the bicycle yarn. That is one of West Wool's yarn. So it is 10% textile, 90% Falkland Merino. So I got 5 colors because, the pattern calls for 5. I actually also got a mustard color that I was thinking about using as a pop of color, but I'm going to keep it for a separate project. So these are my 5 colors. And I am in the midst of clue 2. I guess I should say what else came out in the kit. I got this sticker that I haven't put on anything yet. These like lazy swatch thingies.
Oh yeah.
And I think there's a tag in here. Oh yeah, there's this little.
Oh, that's nice to get the tag.
Make Along 2021 that you can put on the finished project. So let me talk about the wool first, and then I'll get into the pattern. So I really like the wool. It's really squishy. I just don't think it's great for a shawl in terms of like I'm like in the middle of clue 2, so I've done quite a bit. There's a lot of textures with Stephen's pattern, so there's some thick areas, so it's not really drapey. It's like a pretty dense shawl, and yeah, maybe I could have gone up a needle size, but I like the wool. I just feel like it's it's not quite the feel you might want for like a nice drapey shawl. This is going to be like a warm blanket.
Yes. But I think this yarn would be great for a sweater. Even colorwork sweater or textured sweaters.
Yeah.
The stitch definition is really lovely. So and your colors are just the teals.
Yeah. I'm stretching this out so you can see the color pops here. So Clue 1 brought you through these loops here.
Which are I-cord loops.
I-cord loops. I've also been hearing people call them little shrimpies. And then Clue 2, you do this slip stitch striping, then these wedges, and then this triangle bit.
Oh yeah, gosh, these triangles are looking great.
So yeah, the videos are great, super helpful. He guides you with the colors, and these are stitch patterns I've never done before. He's incredibly creative, like these wedges, so fun. I am definitely addicted to it. I'm not knitting on a ton of other things at the moment, but I am enjoying it. I just finished a section of these triangles, so I'm on to the next. I think it's called Bubbles. So, so that's mine. Yeah, and so far, it's Sunday. I've got till Thursday night to do quite a bit more. This is a big section, Clue 2.
And the stitch count has increased.
Stitch count has increased. The only thing I'll say that's kind of annoyed me, so this section here, there's slip 5, but it's not like color work where I could carry the float because you're not actually knitting them, you're slipping them. You know what I mean? So I never carry 5. I always do 3 because I tend to overcompensate, and then I get like big loosey-goosey floats. So you can see, I think my first ones are looser than my second ones. Hopefully with blocking it'll be okay, but I tend to overcompensate when I'm doing, more than carrying the float for more than 3 stitches, so I always catch it when I have 5 or 4 or 5, but when you're actually slipping the stitches, you can't catch it because you're not knitting it.
Because it's the row below. But I honestly think it'll be okay, Natasha. This yarn I bet you this yarn is going to bloom.
I just don't want these to be caught. I can stick a finger through and stuff like that.
And you snag it on jewelry and so on.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll block out, but that's where we are.
Okay.
So let's talk about yours.
So I didn't order a kit. You had to be really quick to order the kits.
I ordered mine at 10:01.
And they went on live at 10 our time. But I looked at some, and I've been wanting to try knitting for Olive for a really long time. I watch Sari Knits podcast. She's based in Finland, and she uses a lot of knitting for Olive yarn. And Stephen did have quite a few knitting for Olive kits, but so I decided to go directly to knitting to Olive and make up a kit. And then, since I wasn't 100% sure, I added in 2 more colors. I ordered that around...
So you ordered 8 colors.
I ordered 8 colors. I ordered that around lunchtime, and then later in the day, somebody posted a kit that they bought from a company called Life in the Long Grass, which is based in Ireland. And I just loved those colors, and I wanted to try...
Before you get to... Let me just quickly show your knitting for Olive colors.
Which I ended up not using for the shawl. And
I'm taking them. Here's 6 of them.
And the 7th one doesn't really go. It's a red.
Yeah, but I'm taking... There's one more color. But you get the idea. Pinky purples and grays. And I'm going to make a striped sweater from them.
So this is really nice. It's this is just merino. It's a light fingering, 50 grams, loads of yardage. It reminds me a little bit of hulls.
Yeah.
But it feels softer.
Yeah.
So I ordered that lunchtime, and then, as I said, at the end of the day, I just saw this yarn and I said, I have to have it. This is the company.
And I've been Life in the Long Grass is super popular right now. I keep hearing people talk about it.
So
it's having a moment.
It's having a moment. So I picked colors sort of similar to someone else's kit.
Okay.
And basically what was available. I will say for Life in the Long Grass, they didn't have many grays because I had a really hard time finding a neutral to go with to get enough contrast. But so this is a merino linen single, and when this came, I knew that this had to be the shawl because I don't want to be making sweaters from singles. I've made that mistake and they pill. This yarn feels really amazing. Can you help me hold up?
Oh, sorry.
And it's just
It's beautiful.
favorite.
It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love the tonal aspect of yours. My wool doesn't have that. It's a solid color.
Yours are solid. So
But
these
I
are my colors. And this is the one gray.
I really love your colors and your
Thank
yarn.
you. And it's got a shine to it. And I think it might be the linen. It also has like these pieces of vegetable matter in it, which I don't mind. And that's part of the linen. So I'm a little behind Natasha because I went to Newport and I was hanging out with friends and it was hard to focus on. It was a bit, let's just say it would have been a bit rude to
Excuse me, I have to watch a video for 10 minutes.
Right. So I am
Although actually I cast mine on in DC on Friday and had a ear pod in, and we were having breakfast at my friend's house. There were 7 of us like chatting around and like on my iPad casting on. So I was a little rude, but it was fine.
They got it. They
understand.
got it.
They're used to it. They've known me since I was 6 or 7. They get it.
So I'm just at the point here where I'm going to do. This is going to be the wedge. I'm about 2 sections below Natasha.
The wedges. So that is what my
turquoise is.
It's like all turquoise. It's what this bright one is. So you knit the 10 rows, and this isn't giving anything away because he has a video about this online. So you knit the 10 rows, and then you do a row where you knit below and bunch them together. So actually I had a question about this section because his video had more detail than the written pattern, and I posted it in the Ravelry group. I posted my question and he replied.
Wow.
And said sorry for that not being clear. Just follow the video and you'll be fine, and I'm sure he'll clear it up in the written pattern when he starts to sell it after. And I'm guessing his testers called it out, but since his video is so detailed and guides you through, he didn't have that in the written part. But I was just like, oh my god. And maybe it's someone that works with him or for him that was responding to it. But either way,
it's great.
I got a response very quickly. And so I really appreciated that because even though the videos are helpful, I am neurotic and want to make sure I'm following the written directions appropriately.
Yeah, me
so
too.
I'm bouncing between the written and the video. So anyway.
So I think quite a few of you are diving in as being your first mystery knit along or your first West knits, which is great. It's just so much fun to be working on his mysteries. It's the 12th one. So I think I said last time that I started in 2013, which was his second mystery knit along. And then in 2014, it was this one that's behind us called Color Craving. And I really loved this one. There's a big cable at the top, and maybe,
I think you can kind of see the cable at the top.
Yeah, you can see the cable, yeah. And it's
kind of
actually
like a big braid type.
Yeah, it's actually sort of similar colors. They'll go. This one's lighter. So I had a lot of fun with this one. I realized I haven't worn it recently.
Yeah.
So so that's kind of our fun. That's taking up quite a bit of our knitting time right now, isn't it, Natasha?
Yeah, it is. Should we talk about some other whips?
Yeah, I only really have 2 other... Oh no, I have 3 other whips. I have an almost FO.
Okay, let me put this down. I'm at a section where I need to start a new section, so I can't be rude and start watching a video while we're recording, but I'm itching to do the next section. Okay, let me put it down. Okay, so my next whip, and I'm not used to having... I have 3 biggish whips going on right now.
Oh.
But that's okay. Okay, so my next one is the League. And this, I believe, is also a Brooklyn tweed pattern.
Oh.
But it is by Veronik Avery, and yes, it is. So this is the pattern. And if you remember from last time, I was using Ballram U Titus, and I had 2 skeins, and I was going to use the Titus, and then I was going to use Rauma, and then I was going to use a Holst. Well, the Rauma was not the right weight, and that was going to be the like part here. And I'll get to the Holst in a second. So when I decided to eliminate the Rauma, which I was going to use for this part, I decided, and this is knit flat obviously, I decided I would mix and match. So instead of my body being one whole color, the front is one color and the back is one color, and then I did the opposite part for that. So it's like extreme color blocking. So I've done the front and the back, and this should actually have been on stitch holders, but I bound off on accident, so I'm gonna have to deal with that. And I blocked these 2.
Oh gosh, they look beautiful.
I am obsessed with this yarn. So I then knit about to an elbow of a sleeve where I did the cuff and then in Holst, and I wasn't liking the way the Holst was in a light gray, and I think I have a picture I'll insert here. It just wasn't feeling right. I wasn't into it. So I ripped it out, looked on Ravelry to see if anyone was selling Ballram U yarn. And there were a couple people I reached out to. One, she didn't get back to me. And then one said she ended up using it for a project. So I ended up ordering this from Wool & Co. I think they're in the Midwest. So I ended up ordering a 3rd color to use for the sleeves of the Ballram U.
Gosh.
But so originally I was like, I'm going to do a long cuff and I'm going to end up ripping this out. I didn't. I'll do another photo. I was trying to do increases of ribbing, and I just didn't like the way this was looking.
Oh, yeah.
But one skein is going to be cutting it close for the 2 sleeves. So I've done one sleeve, and I did the cuff. I did the tubular bind on in the teal, and then the rest of the cuff in the gray. And then my other sleeve is going to be opposite. I'm gonna rip back and make this teal to here, so it's going to be opposite, and then teal here. So I weighed this with the stitch markers and the cuff is 55 grams.
Okay.
I have 54 grams left. Actually, I think it's opposite. I think this is 55 and this is 54.
Okay.
Either way, it's the same. So I think I'm going to have enough because this weighing that included this and the stitch markers. Yeah. I'm supposed to do the collar in this color too, which I might not have enough of. So I still have a little bit more of this and about the same of the gray. So it's very color blocky. What I need to do next is I'm actually going to seam up and attach this sleeve and make sure I did it right, because the pattern, the sleeve is actually knit flat. But again, I knit it in the round, and then the part where you bind off, when it's flat, when you bind off 4 or 5 stitches to start doing the cap shaping, I went to knit it flat then. So the cap, and then there's this like saddle bit here. Right. I knit that flat. So I want to make sure I did that right before I do the rest of the second sleeve. So I'm going to seam one side up, probably the other side, and get one sleeve in, and then rip back and finish this cuff and yada yada yada.
Gosh, Natasha, so this is interesting.
Yeah.
And so for the teal and this grey, has it been one skein?
Yes.
So you had one skein of each color, basically.
Yeah. So it's hopefully a 3 skein project. Again, I might have to do a little bit of creative work for the collar. So the way this yarn, after blocking, it's...
Because I made a sweater, that bright purple sweater.
I'm obsessed with it. And I think it's discontinued, but you can still get it in some places. And so this is obviously a dark teal, and I'm like, there's a theme. My third project is also a dark teal. There's a lot of teal.
It's okay.
I almost was going to do a burgundy. but that person on Ravelry, I messaged 2 people about the burgundy actually, and they didn't get back to me. So I took that as a sign to go with the teal. The shop didn't have the burgundy, so I went with the teal. And I thought they didn't have a light gray either. So not all the colors are available because it's not.
It's a shame it's discontinued.
Yeah.
It's Titus, and I think it's 3 different wools, isn't it?
It's
and
a whole British.
I think Bar MU is a British
It's
company.
definitely British. I don't have a tag with me.
Yeah, well, since it's discontinued, it's too bad. So
wait, do I have one in here? No. Oh, and the wool shop wound this up for me, which was nice. Even though you got me a wool winder for my birthday, which I love the way it wound up.
Your cakes are really
They're so
lovely.
nice, but the wool shop offered it for free.
Really?
So I said sure.
That's
and then it was kind of nice to get it in the mail all caked up, ready to go.
Yes.
So I think, and then I donated like $1 to some, you know how sometimes shops have, you can donate either for eco packaging or offset carbon cost or something. So I was like, sure. So anyway.
And what yarn shop was this again? Online shop?
I'm pretty sure it was Wool & Co.
Okay.
Let me look it up.
So I understand why different yarn completely wouldn't have worked. If it's a different weight and different combination, you're going to be much happier.
Oh, I'm not signed into my email on here. I will put it down here below, but I'm 99% sure it was Wool & Co. And I think they're in Indiana or Illinois.
Okay.
But I'll put it below. And I think it might have been free shipping.
Wow.
And I just bought that one skein.
Wow, that is very nice.
I think.
Okay. Cool.
So that, yep. So what are you working on?
So I am working on my last summer sweater, which has been going on for a while too. The Cascade in
I think I have a sign for
Pollock.
that.
It's a Juniper Moon linen yarn. Yeah, and I'm almost finished. So this is the actual pattern is sleeveless, and I'm added sleeves, and I'm at this. I think I only have like another 10 rows to knit on the second sleeve, and for this one I actually did keep pretty good track of my sleeves because I wanted of my rows. I'm sorry, and my stitches because I wanted the sleeves to be the same, unlike my other sweater where the sleeves.
This feels
are different.
so nice.
You made yourself a tank top out of this.
Oh,
remember?
my outline that I ended up ripping. Yeah.
And so then I'm going to have to do something about the neck, of course, as people know this pattern. But I've got enough yarn left, so this will be ready for spring next year, and it's got this asymmetrical lace panel.
Really nice.
That I'm excited about. So I do want to finish this before embarking on anything new. We'll talk about dream knitting at the end of this episode. And then the only other thing that I'm actively working on is making some dishcloths. My niece had requested dishcloths, and now I'm thinking Christmas gifts. I can make sets of 3 maybe. So yeah, I'm just doing really simple, but I'll do some.
I'm ripping out
patterns. What are you doing? Oh, you're
I'm
ripping out your cuff. Okay, so that's it. I think for my active. Oh no, my goodness, one more.
Oh yeah,
Marled Mania pants.
Before you talk about those, I'll talk about my one more thing.
Oh yes, gosh.
So here is my another dark teal project. So I cast this on before Shawlography hit, and while I was waiting for that teal yarn to work on the league, I had finished this. I had done that yellow hat, and I didn't have the yarn to work on that sweater. So I was like, well, time to cast something on. So a lot of times when I make things that don't quite fit me or a little too out there or whatever, like I kind of enjoy the process of knitting it, but the end project isn't for me. Anna gets them. And I felt like she deserved a knit that was dedicated to her from the beginning.
Aww.
So this is going to be a Christmas present as a surprise for her. So I don't think she watches this.
She doesn't always watch.
She doesn't always watch. So if she watches this, and this is a bonus, and she can get a little sneak peek. I'm not going to tell her.
in
Anna,
person.
if you watch this, let me know.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're getting surprised at Christmas. So this I'm knitting with, this is Stranded Dyeworks, who recently came out from Amy to Jude. It was National Coming Out Day, I think, earlier in October. So really proud of him for doing that.
Extremely proud.
Yeah,
Yes.
huge deal to go through. But he makes awesome yarn too. So this is the kids. I think it's Kid Silk. It's Mohair.
Yeah.
And it's got all these different greens, and Anna loves green. So we got these maybe last fall. We ordered.
I still haven't used mine.
And then this, actually I do have the yarn tags for that. So this is Stranded Dyeworks. That was the Mohair, and I have 2 skeins of that. And then for we had bought the Stranded Dyeworks last fall, and then for Christmas, you got me this Cascade Alpaca lace to hold with it, which is this. So I'm holding these 2 together, and I'm doing a mix of patterns. I wanted to do a mock neck. It's kind of a turtleneck that you wouldn't fold over. So I started with the classic.
Oh yeah,
which is a free pattern from Espace Tricot. And then I'm kind of doing raglan increase count, probably. That will be kind of like the Cumulus by Petite Knits. I looked at the caramel sweater pattern, which I had done, but that was with thicker yarn. So the stitch count isn't right off. So I'm at the point now where I need to put it on some waste yarn and sort of measure it out, because I'm not exactly following a pattern with the stitch count, because the classic, the raglan increases were done with like knit through the front and the back.
Oh yes.
Instead of make one left, make one right. And the way that it's a free pattern, so it's not super detailed, and I just wasn't quite getting it, and B, didn't want to do my increases like that. I prefer to make one left, make one right on either side of one stitch. And so my stitch count got off, and whatever. I'm doing a raglan increase, and I'm just looking at 3 different patterns basically. But because I'm not going to an exact stitch count, I need to put it on some waste yarn and measure it up against
one of her sweaters.
Yeah.
And maybe we could do that. She's actually away.
Well, I can do it against one of my sweaters.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And see how much more I need to do before splitting. And then it'll be an easy knit in between some stuff. So I have this to do through Christmas. So
that's really nice.
I'm loving the way that this is knitting up though.
Oh, yeah.
And I
the
thought
colors are gorgeous.
do I need to,
alternate skeins?
But since I'm holding it with this, I think it's going to be fine.
And they work. And it works really nicely together, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it really does.
I'll probably do like alternate like for 2 rows when I change over to the skein. So I think I'm gonna have enough yarn. I definitely have plenty of this. I just have 2 skeins of this, but I think it'll be fine. Yeah. What I'll probably do is when I split for the body, I'll do the 2 sleeves before I do the body, and then just knit till I'm done with the yarn for the body.
Sounds wonderful, Natasha. Yes.
Okay, so it's a little much with all my I have to take a picture. It's so much teal and green, but
all your teal green knitting. Well, that's what you love.
So you have one more whip.
My last active whip is our Knitalong, the Marled Mania.
No magic.
Oh,
just
no
Marled
magic.
Mania leggings, but they can have a little magic in them if you like.
So I finished one leg.
So hold on, this is a knit-along that we're hosting. I think we kicked it off in September, and it'll go through December 31st, so the end of the year. And we're hosting this with Joyce of the Ruby Moss Cottage podcast, and then Loretta and her daughter Natalia of the Knit My Way Home podcast. And we're actually having a virtual meetup this afternoon, where we're gonna, a few of you who are working on this are gonna join. We're just gonna chat about these. I haven't cast any on yet, but
you have a lot of knitting.
I have a lot of knitting on my needles, but if I do cast on, I'm going to use the remainder of yours, because you hardly made a dent in your bowl of sock fingering leftovers. So there's another maybe 2 leggings in here.
Yes.
So please join us if it's a great way. It's kind of like one big sweater with 2 big sleeves for the legs. So you've done one. Oh my God, these are so beautiful.
So I'm on the 2nd leg, and I think I mentioned it last time that I prefer the stocking stitch Stephen's written it so that the reverse stocking stitch is what shows, but I guess they could be reversible really.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're on pause right now because of the Stephen West Knitalong, but I could zoom through these. This is really kind of fun knitting now, and I'm just randomly picking colors from the yarn bowl, or maybe slightly trying to match them, not really.
No, not really.
And I've tried them on and they are super comfy. So I want to make myself a sweater to go with them, but not marled.
Oh, okay.
I think just plain. Don't you
Okay.
think? Just a plain.
I don't know. It could be kind of a fun outfit.
Well, that's what Stephen has. He made a Marled Mania sweater. I keep saying, Marled Mania.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I feel like just a plain grey-black sweater.
Yeah.
Like a raglan. Anyway, let me know if you think of the ideal sweater to go with these leggings for the work from home attire. So this has been a lot of fun. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's it for. Is that it for all our knitting?
That's it for whips.
There's some dream knitting, and
Yes.
that's really the one plug I want to make is that I'm going to be doing the November Knit a Sweater in a Month challenge.
Okay.
The acronym is NACNI SWIMO. Again, it's something that I've done for several years now that I really enjoy. The challenge is to knit a sweater that's got at least 50,000 stitches in the month of November.
Okay.
And originally it was write a novel or write a story or something, or write 50,000 words a day or something. Originally
50,000 words a day?
Or in the month.
Okay. 50,000
Anyway,
words a day sounds kind of crazy.
That is crazy. Maybe you should cut this out.
I'm going to leave it in.
Originally, it was a literary challenge, and the knitting world has sort of,
acquired it
and made it their own. And the pattern I want to do, or at least my number one choice right now, is May (be Queen). If you've seen that, it's kind of a cool textured design with some interesting panels on the side. I think that's a theme for me, and I'm going to use stash yarn. I've got some Madeline Tosh DK. It's a DK weights pattern, a merino silk. I'll talk about that more as November approaches, although I guess we're already half.
You'll talk about that in our November episode.
Yeah, I'll talk about that and maybe post on Instagram with the yarn. But anyway, I'd love it if you guys joined in. If you've been thinking about knitting a sweater, November would be a great month to jump in. And I'm trying to talk Natasha into doing that challenge as well.
Maybe I'll do with your knitting for Olive. I'll do a striped one if I finish the league, and I don't know if I'll be able to keep up with Shawlography or not. But if I do, that would theoretically be done the beginning of November, right? Or the Shawlography will go on hold. But I think I'll join it. I think I can get the league done.
Oh yeah, you can.
Okay.
And
okay, so I think it's time for us to do our giveaways. So we have a bag from Sandy, and we actually got a whole another set of bags from Sandy. Thank you so much. Two dedicated to us that are embroidered with knit ink. And I have all my knitting for Olive yarn in here that I'm stealing from my mom, and they're so beautiful. There's these ties to on either side. There's pockets on the outside. There's a zip pocket on the inside. This fun fabric.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
So gorgeous. I'm obsessed. Thank you so much.
And Sandy's at Rhinebeck this weekend.
Oh.
Sandy, I hope you are having an amazing time. Oh yeah, it's Rhinebeck weekend.
Yeah, we didn't go, obviously.
But hope those of you that are at Rhinebeck are having a fantastic time.
And a few other bags that will be for future giveaways.
I'm using this one. I love them.
Sheep.
These are such a great size.
So for future,
shape.
So for future giveaways, so cute. Like, look at the little llamas.
Yeah, and they're all woolly or sheepy. So Sandy,
thank you.
Honestly, it's pretty amazing that you took the time and the expense of this gorgeous fabric and just send us all these bags.
We really appreciate it. Thank
you.
So one of you lucky viewers will get one of Sandy's precious bags. This is the one with this fun yarn motif. Again, there's 2 pockets on the outside and a zipper one on the inside. So you'll get, one winner will get the bag, and you will get some of my prints and cards. I have cards that say you are knitterly the best, yarned and dangerous prints, and some adventure prints. So you'll get a handful of those. And we also have these little bracelets. So you'll get one of these bracelets with a little knitting charm on it. Whoop. So for the bag, all the bracelets just fell out. My mom is using an app that takes, from our last episode, takes the comments, and it will remove duplicates and randomly draw. So the first winner is, okay, the winner is L. Kazik, and I'll put this below.
That's so close to my own name.
Yeah.
Gosh, and read the comment, Natasha.
Hello from Green Valley, Arizona. We are in the Donovan Desert at about 3,000 feet altitude. I'm knitting a retro Lion brand free pattern called Casual Knitted Vests. Vests are great for our mild climate. Your videos are so cozy, I feel like we're all in the same room. Thanks. Oh, that's really sweet.
Thank you.
So we're going to send you a bag for you to keep your knits in. Yes, we had 379 unique comments. So congratulations. We will get that to you in the mail in the next couple weeks or so.
Yes, so send us a note. Did you already say that?
That's what I should say, yes. For all 3 of the winners, I'll put the email here. Email us your name and mailing address to knitinc2019@gmail.com. And that's ink, I-N-K. And again, that will be below, so email us. Okay, second winner. You will also get some prints and a bracelet, and instead of a bag, you will get a skein of yarn. So this skein of yarn is it's the one I got from Cape Cod. So this is Cape Cod Yarn Company. Ooh. And this yarn is called Provincetown Fingering Weight. So Provincetown is at the tip here. And it is 480 yards. It is 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon, and I chose this color because it was called Into Fall.
Oh, and it's really, I love those colors.
So it's kind of like a cream base with some foresty greens and some cranberry colors. So pretty New England fall, and it's hand dyed on the Cape. So
the winner is Susan Carrier, and her comment is she likes the leggings. Those leggings are amazing, and I'm looking forward to seeing your progress. Right now I'm doing a lot of gift knitting, including 2 small flax sweaters, mittens, hats, and market bags. I still need to finish 1 flax, 3 hats, and maybe a stuffed toy. When these are finished, I hope to make myself a couple of shawls and join the latest all work, gnome play Cal. Cute.
Oh.
Cute. That's a lot of knitting,
yeah,
Susan.
this would be great for a shawl.
It would be perhaps with a neutral or just by itself.
Yeah, so I hope you can use this, Susan. Again, email knitinc2019@gmail.com.
And the third winner, I'm just pick another winner.
Okay, the third winner will get this, hold on one sec, I will show the yarn. Beachy Breeze Fibers. And this is a Connecticut dyer, hand dyed in Woodbury, Connecticut. So this is the one you got at Driftwood Yarns.
And Anna picked out the colors.
And the colorway is First Flight. And it's these fun pastels, purples, blues, and greens. And it is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 4-ply, 463 yards. So quite a bit of yarn, socks or a shawl as well.
And the winner is Debbie Flaxman, and she says, great episode. Thank you, Debbie. I'm currently knitting a color block sweater for my mum from a pattern called Ivory, written by Quail Studio for Rowan Yarns, and I'm looking forward to casting on my first live note sweater. Love note, she must mean love notes.
Love note, yeah.
Okay, Debbie, send us a note.
Knitinc2019@gmail.com.
Great. So if you stuck with us this far, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and hit the thumbs up and all that jazz, and enjoy your knitting.
Happy knitting. See you
Until the next time. Bye.
Bye.